in 1977 decided to release the Atari VCS, and after a couple of years, they slowly became one of the biggest electronics companies in America, if not the biggest electronics company in America. And definitely the biggest video game. But the thing is, how come we don't see Atari anymore? Have you ever wondered that?
No.
Shut up. I'm gonna tell you anyways. Well, the video game crash of 1983 was a very, very big problem, and there's a lot of things you could blame on it, but it wasn't just one specific thing. In this video, I'll be talking about that, but just keep this in mind. This console was one of the biggest consoles ever, and the game crash pretty much killed this system and any chance it ever had in the future. Now, well, since we're getting started on that, one of the first things Atari screwed up on was employee treatment. Now you're probably gonna say, oh, how does this have anything to do with it? Hear me out. In 1979, Atari employees weren't getting bonuses. If their game became one of the best-selling games of the year, they wouldn't get bonuses. So, a couple people, they decided to branch off and create Activision. Sound familiar? Yeah, Activision made Pitfall and River Raid and multiple other games, but these are pretty much the main games that I think of when I think Activision. Now, hold your horses before you go in the comments, oh, but Activision is a great company. Activision probably launched the 2600 because of Pitfall. Ugh. Activision kind of hurt the industry because they showed other companies, hey, we can make a video game for Atari's console without Atari's permission. And Atari sued Activision multiple times. I think twice or thrice. But Activision won. And yeah, that showed other companies, hey, we can make our own game and put that on the Atari 2600. Yeah, third-party software. Now, obviously, if you've seen Nintendo games have this official Nintendo seal of quality. That pretty much means Nintendo looked over this game and said, hey, this is a good game. This game is not shit. And you know why they did that? Because other companies, not including Activision, but actually, a lot of companies back in the day, they saw Activision, they saw Activision and we can make our own games. So there's companies like Froggo Games, Apollo, what is this one? Data Age, Parker Brothers, Data East, and multiple other companies that are like, okay, we're gonna just pour as many goddamn games as we can on the Atari 2600. And, well, that just flooded the market with bullshit that nobody wanted to play. Like, Sea Hunt. I tried playing this game, I don't understand it. Escape Journey is pretty bad, too. Just, Shark Attack isn't that great either. They're just rushed. And companies like Majesco, something like that, made P-word games. Porn games, yeah. The 2600 was flooded with shit because of Activision. They showed they could make their own games. Then again, it could also be Atari's fault because, we treated the coworkers bad in the first place, and we don't have a licensing thing. But, let's just... Third-party games can't be the only thing to blame. I mean, there's first-party games that are bad, like... Do these look familiar to you? Yeah. Well, everybody knows about E.T., and most people know about Pac-Man. The worst thing about Pac-Man is Atari worked so hard to get the rights to Pac-Man on the 2600. And after they finally got it, after I don't know how long, this game sucked. This is the worst port of Pac-Man. And then, this game, it was rushed. It was like, this game was made in like 5 weeks. If I remember correctly, this was made by the guy that made Yar's Revenge, I think. This game had to be made in five weeks. Because E.T. just released, and they were like, okay, E.T., well, I don't know if E.T. was out yet, I can't remember. It was like, we got the rights. We have the rights to E.T., because we're Warner, for F's sake. Let's just make an E.T. game for Christmas. You make an E.T. game. You got 5 weeks until Christmas. Oh, shit. Okay, so they made this game. This game sucks. This is not... You can't blame this game entirely on the video game crash. But, yeah, it didn't help. And, of course, this didn't help either. Pac-Man didn't help either. And, well... let's just say... I mean, if we're gonna be real... The video game crash wasn't just Atari and third-party companies. I mean, everybody was trying to make a console. I mean, Magnavox made the Odyssey 2, Coleco made the ColecoVision, Mattel made the Intellivision, Vectrex existed. There were a bunch of consoles. And hell, Atari even tried to make another one because, they saw the ColecoVision and they're like, oh boy, this is way more powerful than our 2600 and it's easier to program for. We need to make our own console, so they made the 5200. Hey look, Atari messed up again. Why didn't they put E.T. on this? I mean, that would have been hell, why didn't they just have Pac-Man on this thing, too, instead of on the 2600? That could have been a huge selling point for this. Oh, get this at 5200, because it's got Pac-Man and E.T. But no, we got really shitty versions that were rushed beyond hell for the 2600. And yeah, we did later get a Pac-Man release on the 5200. But never an E.T., because E.T. flopped that hard. So, yeah. But, most people of the day saw this console and was like, why do I need to upgrade? I mean, this was in the second generation of video game consoles. Nobody knew how video game console lifespans worked. Nowadays, everybody knows, after about a decade or so, you get a new console. Back then, they didn't know that. People just kind of had the 2600, thought, oh, that's pretty cool, and just went on with it. So when they saw this, they're like, why do I need to upgrade? This thing's expensive, huge, and it doesn't play my 2600 games. Which, funny to bring it up, this thing isn't backwards compatible, but yet the ColecoVision can play 2600 games. You get the expansion module 1. Huh? So, yeah, this thing kind of sucked. And yeah, the video game crash was not a good thing. Pretty much anybody that even tried to make a video game console, or anything video game related, failed. Until Nintendo came along, obviously. Atari actually tried to team up with Nintendo to release the Famicom here. But then the video game crash happened. So if the video game crash wouldn't have happened, well, first of all, Atari would still be a really strong brand. Nintendo, we would have a Famicom over here instead of an NES. That has Atari's logo on it, mind you. And yeah, Microsoft would exist, but the Xbox might not exist, PlayStation might not exist. It'd be a completely different world. We might be up to the Atari 36,420. I don't know. So, just the video game crash had a really big impact on, I mean, every company that made a video game console pretty lost a shit ton of money. I mean, Coleco went bankrupt, Vectrex went bankrupt because that's the only thing they ever had. I don't even know the company. Atari lost shit tons of money. Mattel lost shit tons of money. And yeah. Like, even computers lowered for a bit there, like computer games. And nobody wanted anything to do with video games. And really, if you look back, it's almost like the Great Depression of the 1930s, but for video games. Stock prices of video games went from like $4 or $5 billion a year in revenue to like 100 or 200,000. That's a big decrease. And it might not be that. I'm just taking wild guesses because I can't remember that exact information. But it's something like that. It's crazy how bad video games died in 1982 and 1983 alone. I mean, there was a video game crash in 1976 before the 2600 came out. It's not as big, but that's why the Fairchild Channel F flopped like it did. And hell, there might have even been a small video game crash in 1994, back when because there were shit tons of consoles then, but none of them were even as close to as bad as the one in '83. Now, in Japan and Europe, I don't think the crash ever happened. You guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but in North America, people gave up on video games for a good couple of years there until the Nintendo came along. So, I hope you learned a thing. And, yeah, this is kind of a different video that I've been doing. I've been just doing simple console reviews. So I hope this is a little bit interesting to you, because it sure as hell is interesting to me. Yeah, go subscribe, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe 500 subscribers by the end of June. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see y'all later. Go comment. Yeah. See ya. If you don't know where this is going to be in the video. But I forgot to mention, E.T. and Pac-Man. Well, there's a myth that, like urban legend, whatever you want to call it, that millions of E.T. cartridges were just buried in a New Mexico landfill. Which people say is false, and I would agree. However, it's not. It's technically a myth, but it's not just ETs. Like, it was recently dug up, I think in 2006, which is still 2 years before I was born. But they dug it up, and there were thousands of cartridges, but not all of them were ET or Pac-Man. There was a little bit of everything. And I think you can still find copies. They're actually decently collectible copies that were dug up from the landfills. I'd like to have a copy. But, yeah. Anyways, now is the real end. Goodbye.